Right, I'm back again with another video. I'm going to predict League 2 this time. I predicted League 1, and now it's time for me to predict another one of the football leagues. I'll be predicting all of them, all four of them, in the coming days to come. But first, let's predict League 2. Now, there's no preview this time. I haven't done a preview for any of the other leagues, with other things going on. But I wanted to share what I did for the League 1 preview when I made that video, so I did. Um, right, well, let's jump straight into it. Let's have a look at who is going to finish where in League 2, or shall I say how wrong I'm about to get my predictions. 24th place, it's going to be an interesting one. You know what? I'm going to stick my neck on the line. I'm going to go for Tranmere Rovers. Rovers had an awful second half of last season. They lost 17 of their last 23 games, winning just 2 of them. And I don't really have the greatest feeling about Darrell Clark as a manager, if I'm going to be honest. I know he's done really well in the past, before last season. He's got some teams promoted out of League 2, done a good job in League 1 at times as well. But when I look at Bristol Rovers, he laid the foundation for a 10-game losing run. Tranmere, I think, are in a bit of freefall at the moment. I think it was only like 1 or 2 points. They finished clear of the dotted line in the end. Just 2 points it was. And I remember watching them against MK Dons in the penultimate game of the season. They just weren't the same, and I don't think they're actually going to get back to how they were before the second half of last season anytime soon. So, I'm going to take my neck on the line, and I'm going to go for Tranmere Rovers to finish bottom. In 23rd place, this is going to be an interesting one. Oh, who do I think? 23rd place, I'm going to go for Crawley Town. It was kind of between them and Newport County, if I'm going to be honest. But I just think, again, Crawley, they only got relegated to League 2 in 2025. And to be honest, Scott Lindsay showed he would have kept them up in that season when he went back. And I actually, this time last year, I was expecting Crawley to go and win League 2. I was so confident that even though Scott Lindsay didn't work out at MK Dons, I was so confident that he'd got the best out of that squad and that he'd storm it back up to League 1. And I really was expecting him to have a great season. Clearly, the opposite happened, and they got less points last season than they did the season before. Again, I know Colin Kazan-Richards managed to keep them up with 3 successive draws, but they didn't exactly win a lot of games last season. They only managed to win 8 out of 46 for a newly relegated side. Is very, very poor. And I just think, when I look at Crawley, I just don't see a side that's progressing. They've only won 2 of their last 17 games. Again, a bit like Tranmere Rovers, they looks like in a bit of free fall, even though they could draw a few games. And I just don't think they're going to have enough in them compared to the other teams to actually survive, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm putting Crawley Town in 22nd. 21st place, I'm going to go for... Sorry, I'm not on 22nd. I'm putting Crawley Town at 23rd. 22nd place, I'm going to go for Newport County. I think they're just about going to avoid relegation again. It's not been the easiest last few seasons to support Newport County, has it? They've had to the loyal fans. They've had to deal with quite a few losses certainly over the last couple of seasons. Although to be fair to County, the Exiles did manage to improve in the last few months. I remember watching them against MK Dons. To be fair, apart from a goalkeeper mistake in the first minute, they give us a real good game, and they managed to really take some momentum after that. I know they won 3 of their last 4, which is something you're going to need to do if you're going to stay in the division. But I've got a little bit of a gut feeling here that it's not going to work out too well with the manager change with Hayden Mullins. You can see I've got the managers here. I know he had a brief stint in charge of Watford, I don't think he's a proven manager, and I think the managerial change is gonna have its drawbacks in a way. I can't see Hayden Mullins lasting the full season. It's just my gut feeling here. But I think Christian Fuchs did manage to get a tune up the squad, and he managed to get the best out of the squad, albeit eventually. Now he's gone. now somebody else is going to have to find some good ideas, and that's what was really needed in the end. It clearly took a long time to do, and I just think it might not work out too well, and that we'll just see another relegation threatened campaign for the Exiles, if I'm going to be honest. So, County, I'm putting that team in 22nd place. 21st place. Ooh, who do I fancy? 21st place. I'm going for Accrington Stanley, if I'm going to be honest. Stanley, I think it was a really disappointing end to last season. I think John Doolan's side were really at one point looking like they could challenge for the playoffs. You know, they were in mid-table, they were doing well, they weren't losing too many games, but then it all seemed to kind of fall apart in a way, and they just couldn't seem to stop losing many games. In the end, I think it was they were winners in their last 6, and they just won one of their last 17 league games. John Doolan remains in charge. What's changing? I think they're going to have a real, they say hangover in metaphorical terms, hangover. I think they're going to really be sort of feeling the side effects from last season. I don't think this is going to be a great season for Stanley. I think they're going to be in a relegation battle again, and it's going to be a really disappointing season for the club's loyal fans who've had a tough few seasons, haven't they, since they got relegated back to League Two. In 20th place, who do I fancy? 20th place, we're going with Cheltenham Town. Steve Cottrell did a good job to guarantee the Robins' safety. It was good seeing them win 3 successive games as they guaranteed safety. It looked like they really turned the corner, but in the end, it kind of fell apart again because after guaranteeing safety, in the end, they lost their last 3 games, and they actually had the joint worst defensive records in the division last season. How many goals did they concede? It was 79 goals. It was them and Tranmere Rovers who conceded both 79 goals. That's not a good tally to concede. It's actually really bad. And yes, he got some form out of his side, but clearly more consistency is needed. I look at these teams here, and I think they're all a little bit better than Steve Cottrell's men. So I'm going to put them in 20th because I can't see them finishing any higher, I'm going to be honest. Right, 18th place. Who do I fancy? You know what? I think it's only right. Gillingham. So I've done the second time in the video. Not 18th place, 19th place. But I'm still going to put Gillingham in there because, I mean, Gareth Ainsworth, he started off so well in charge of the Gills. He really did. It was a blistering start. 21 games unbeaten. The Gills looked like finally they could start challenging for promotion consistently. But after losing to Harrogate Town, it just wasn't the same. I mean, they lost, how many games did they end up losing in the end last season? There was 19 league games last season. So disappointing, considering how well they were looking to go in the season. I mean, but if you think about it, they finished the season with 1 win in 5, just 2 wins in 13. It's not really good enough, is it? You know, they've had multiple losing streaks of a few games, and at least one 5-game losing streak in the second half of the season. I'm just not feeling confident about them, and it's so disappointing given that Gareth Ainsworth knows that he's got it in him to get out of League Two. He's even got out of League One before. I think this is going to be a really tough, disappointing season for the Gills, but I don't really think I can place them any higher. Right, now let's get into 18th place. Good calibre of teams here. Who do I think? '18th place. Gonna go for. I'm actually gonna go for Fleetwood Town. Actually, no, I'm not gonna go for Fleetwood Town. I'm gonna go for Shrewsbury Town. Gavin Cohen hit the ground running when he took charge of Salop. Hit the ground running with 5 successive wins. Fantastic start for a new manager. Any new manager would dream of having that start. But clearly, since losing his first game, I believe that was to Walsall, they haven't been the same. And I remember they soon got on a 4-game losing streak very soon after that. And they finished the season with 2 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses in their last 6. And for a team that got relegated in 2025 back down to League Two, and who have had a respectable, past few seasons, have finished mid-table in League One in the past, then got promoted to the Championship. They've been out of League Two, being promoted a couple of times also in the last, 15 years before they ended up having to come back into League Two. It was, again, really disappointing. And, I remember watching them against MK Dons. I know, to be fair, they didn't start off too badly in that game, but we managed to turn them over 5-1. And they seemed to just, in the end, just look lost. And I think that's where they are right now. I think it's going to be another tough season for the Shrews. I just think, yeah, I think they might have the right manager in charge, potentially. You could argue. But I think it's just going to be a really mixed bag of results. And I don't think I can really justify putting them any higher right now. 17th place. Now I am going to go for Fleetwood Town. Matt Lawler came in, and he did hit the ground running, to be fair. I think they had an 8-game unbeaten run, which isn't bad, but they also drew quite a few of those games. He did help to turn things around after Pete Wild. I think it was 7 games in a row that they lost. But I think, it's still disappointed in this. It's still a disappointed end to the season. I know they did well to draw with MK Dons, who obviously were in first place going into the game. But if you think about it, yes, they lost 4 of their last 17 games. Conversely, they only won just 2 of their last 12. So that tells you that a lot more consistency is needed, if you think about it. And draws only get you so far. You need to win games, and I don't see them winning games consistently right now. I think, again, having been relegated in 2024 to League Two, it's not been easy, and I don't think it's going to get much easier this season, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm going to have to put them there, in my humble opinion. Right, like I said, I've got a good caliber of teams here. Who do I think is going to finish 16th? Interesting one. You know what? I'm going to be a bit wacky with this. Colchester United in 16th place. I think United, they've got a good squad there. They can beat teams. And to be fair, last season, Danny Cowley, who has won League Two in the past, he's not a bad manager. But when you consider that at one point, United were in quite good form, I would say. I just think they would have been hoping to kick further, but instead they didn't. They managed to fall away, and in the end had to settle for a 12th place finish. I don't think they've got the consistency to really challenge further, if I'm going to be honest. I just don't think there's a good enough side right now to really have a great season. And if I look at these other teams, I don't think they're as good as these teams. I think it's going to be a tough watch, and I think they're going to have to settle for a lower mid-table finish. But a bit of a backward step, because after narrowly avoiding relegation in 2024, they managed to finish 12th twice, but I think it's going to be a step back in the wrong direction. I could be wrong. Probably find out how horribly wrong I am in the next 9 months or so, but that's what I'm thinking right now. 15th place. Half thinking Crew. I'm going to go for Rochdale. It was a great season for Rochdale last season, as they managed to finish with over 100 points. I want to say it was 105. I'm not sure exactly. I might just quickly check. It was one of those seasons where both the top 2 teams in the National League finished with over 100 points. But I don't see the Dale challenging for the playoffs, if I'm going to be honest. I just think right now the other teams are better than them. I think it's going to be. I think they're going to have not a bad season, but again, it's just my gut feeling. They've obviously had to 106 points Rochdale had, only finishing 2 points behind York. But ultimately, getting 106 points doesn't automatically mean you're gonna manage to get into the top 7 or get promoted again. We saw that with Notts County, who achieved 107 points, but managed to fall away a little bit in the end. I think Rochdale might do something similar. I think they're going to have a good season in mid-table, and I do think their manager, their new manager Ian Watson, who used to work with Mike Williamson at the Dons, I don't think they've got a bad gaffer there, to be fair. But he's not Jim McNulty. He's not the manager who led them to the National League, top 2, and managed to get them promoted up to League C. I think it's going to be a case of, they'll get some good victories, but I don't think they'll have enough in them to really kick on further. I think they're going to need some more time in League 2, and then eventually they might kick on more to League 1 again. But I don't think I just don't have the best feeling about their squad right now in comparison to the other teams. And you know what? I'm going to say something similar about York City. York also began the season without their previous manager. Jim McNulty may have left for Stockport County, but York managed to actually part company with Stuart Maynard, much to the anger and unhappiness of many fans of the York City faithful. They did not agree with that decision at all. And Scott Lindsay already, after just one League Cup game, to Crawley Town, his old sides, already calls are coming for his head. But I think it's going to take time. I don't think Scotland's going to get them off to the best of starts. He might even be shown the door. And I think, they may get into it, I think, towards the end of the season. A bit like Bristol Rovers, you could say, last season. But I just think, right now, York, they're going to give it a go. But I think similar to Rochdale, I don't think they're as good as the other teams that I haven't mentioned just yet, if I'm going to be honest. I just don't think it's going to be a case of that they're going to be up there challenging for promotion. So I think a lower mid-table finish might be but the 2 promoted sides will have to settle for. But I don't think they'll go down at all, if I'm going to be honest. Right, who's next? Crew's next. Crew, it's been a tough couple of seasons. They reached their player final in 2024, but it's not been the same since for the Bells men. They were challenging, they were knocking on the door, but they fell away. They lost a few of their last games, the last few games, and again, I just don't think it's going to be easy for them. I think it's going to be a tough watch. I think they're going to get some good victories, but I don't think they're going to be able to keep up the momentum, and that's been the story of the last couple of seasons, hasn't it? They won this in the last 4. They lost 3 of those games before drawing. They can get close, but they can't stay close, and it's going to be tough for Crewe. I think. I think it's going to be a really tough season for the Alex and for the Railway men. Right, let's go into the top half of the table. You know what? I don't really think it's fair on the other teams to put them below Walsall. I think. Now, do I think this? League One will be motivated. He got Huddersfield Town off to a really good start in League One, but they fell away. And I think Walsall right now, they know what that's like. They know what it's like to get to a great start and then fall away. And I don't think their calibre of players right now is too fantastic. I think it's going to be another season of mid-table. Darren Byford managed to get some tune out of the squad, but again, they fell away. And it was another tough season. I mean, for a side that's led League 2 twice on Christmas Day in a row, and still managed to not get promoted. I mean, it's unacceptable, really. If there was a list of 5 or 6 teams that are the most depressing to support in England, Walsall would have to be in that list, without a shadow of a doubt. And I just don't see it getting any easier for them. If I'm going to be honest, I think these teams are just better than them. I really do. I just think it's going to be a tough season. They're going to have some good victories, but they're not going to be able to keep up the consistency. I remember watching them against MK Dons, and there's some chances, but there's only going to be one winner that day. And I think a lot of fans of other football clubs, I think they might feel the same way about Walsall. You know, there's only going to be one winner, and it wasn't them. I don't know why they keep falling away, but they do. And yeah, I just fear for them. I really do. It's going to be a tough season for the Sadler's faithful, I think. Could be wrong. Right, let's go for 11th place, shall we? 11th place going for Oldham Athletic. Oldham surprised many last season. only achieving 73 points in 2025 National League. They did incredibly well to challenge for the playoffs, boss. I mean, at one point, they won like 8 and 9, had 8 clean sheets in 9 as well. And that was very, very impressive. But again, they fell away. I think they lost, like, I think they went on a 5 game losing streak at one point as well. It just wasn't to be for the Latics. And I think Mickey Mellon will be quite disappointed considering how well he's done in the past league, how well they were doing. I just I don't have a good feeling that they can better last season. No, they did incredibly well to finish 10th. But in their last 5 games, they lost their last 4 and then drew 1. I mean, I remember when I watched them against MK Dons, they gave us a really good game, did well to draw, but yeah, I don't think there's enough in that squad right now to challenge for promotion, but I think they might give it a bit of a go. 10th place, um, I want to go for Northampton. Um, Chris Hogg, he's I don't really know too much about him, but I know in the past it's been tough for Northampton Town when they've got relegated. It's taken more than one season to really find their feet, and I think they might have a promotion challenge for the players, but I think I just got a feeling that they'll fall short. If I'm going to be honest, just don't think it's gonna fully work out for them. In my opinion, my humble opinion. Right, who do I think is going to finish ninth? Ninth, I'm going for Salford City. I've not heard of their new manager, Peter Klamovsky, I think it is. I hope I've said that right. I actually think sacking Carl Robinson was a big mistake. Yes, they lost the player final, but they also won more games than any other team in the division. I think Carl would have probably got them up, but don't ever underestimate the impact of sacking a manager who's doing well. Just because of one player final defeat. I think the board have panicked, and they're bringing in a new, in my opinion, unproven and untested manager. How's this going to work out? I just don't have a good feeling. And we're used to seeing, aren't we, the Army's challenge for the player spots, but not always get in there. And I think it's gonna revert back to that. I cannot see them making the playoffs this season. I really can't. Shame, really. Right. Who do I think is going to finish eighth and just miss out on the playoffs? This is a tough one. Um, I'm gonna stick my neck on the line, as always. What do I think? Rotherham United. I have to put them in there now. I think Rotherham will be challenging for promotion. I think Alex Bruce will be motivated. And I think Aaron Lemaine is a really good signing for them as well because he knows League Two. He can score goals. He can score well, do you put it that way. And I actually really like him as a player. But they've lost a couple of key players. They lost Sam Nombe. He's gone back to MK Dons. He's proven that he knows where the back of the net is. And they've lost another key player as well. I forget his name. But I think that is going to hamper them. And also, again, a bit like Salford City, we don't know how Alex Bruce is going to perform as a manager. We don't know if it's going to work out well or not. We don't know if he's going to get the sack. We don't know if it's going to get a tune out of the players or not. I mean, I saw most of the game against West Bromwich Albion where, I mean, look, it was always going to be tough against a better Championship side, but they just weren't really going to look like scoring. I mean, a lot of that stadium as well. You look at, like half the stadium at least was empty. The fans have had enough, and I think they're going to just miss out. I just do. I just do. But they'll be challenging it. I think they'll win more games anyway. But it's been a tough 3 seasons, hasn't it? For the Millers. Where did it all go wrong after surviving in the Championship in 2023 at last? Was letting Paul Vaughan go the wrong decision, or did they just have no choice? Or don't know. I just always wonder how it happened, really. Right, 7th place. I'm going for Swindon Town. I think they are going to make top 7. I think Ian Holler's going to be motivated. They've got a good squad there. They were in the promotion mix for the majority of last season, but then it just seemed to fall away for them. I mean, They all they had to do was just beat Chesterfield, and they would have got into the into the top seven, and they lost that game. And it was a really disappointing into last season. I mean, suddenly all just went wrong. I mean, how many games did they lose in the end? I mean, they're winless in their last four. Those 15 league games, you can't really afford to do that if you're getting promoted. If you're really going for it. I just I do think they'll go one better because they do have the bulk of their squad still remaining. And I think is it Adrian Drennan his name, who's the top goal scorer. I think he is going to be quite pivotal. But I still think they've just got a strong squad there. If I'm going to be honest, I think they've got a hungry squad, a motivated squad. I think going out of the playoffs on the final day, but falling out right at the end, I do believe, even though they lost two of the last four and only won two in the last eight, I do feel that it's going to really motivate them further. But I think, given how it all fitted out, I'm going to have to put them in seventh. I think. Just don't think it's going to work for them. Sixth place, I'm going again for Chesterfield. Will be a second consecutive sixth place finished. Paul Cook's a good manager. He's got them out of league to as champions in the past, and they did have quite a strong quite a strong second half of last season. But I think, thinking about it, I just don't think they've got enough in them to go further. They've got a good side, they've got a good manager, but it reminds me a bit like Dons when they were challenging for promotion to the championship for so many seasons. Had quite a few playoff heartbreak seasons, and they fell off as well, and then eventually they got up. I think Chesterfield is in that phase right now. I just don't think they've got enough in them to get automatic promotion. I really don't. I just think they're a great side, but it won't be great enough. If you think about it. But yeah, I mean, they did win, to be fair. 6 of the last 8, so they're not here to mess about. They do mean business, but I wonder if these sides can just do a bit better. Right. Fifth place, Barnet. Barnet won, I think it was their last 5 games of the season. Dean Brennan, he means business. He got the best out of that side, and I absolutely think they're making the top 5 this season. I could have possibly even put them higher. This is a side that isn't messing about. This is a side that is going to cause a lot of teams problems this season. I absolutely think that. If you think about it, they won 7 and 8. They won their fifth. Yeah, they won their 5th successive game in a row. At the end of last season with five wins. I remember watching them against MK Dons. To be honest, they carved us apart. They were the better team. You'd have thought they were the ones in the top 3. And I absolutely think he's going to be really motivating. So is the squad. So absolutely challenge for a second promotion in 3 years. I mean, Bromley did it, and I think Barnet will be looking to emulate it. I really do. Right, 4th place. 4th. I'm going to go for Port Vale. No, I'm not going to go for Port Vale. I'm going for Exeter City. Because I think there's a great side there for League 2. But clearly, seeing Gary Caldwell leave was what undid them. And we've got Matt Taylor in. I think Matt Taylor's been in before. I've probably had a Matt Taylor in. So I think he will know the squad. And I think they'll be challenging for promotion. But I don't think this is clearly not as good a caliber of a manager as Gary Caldwell was for them. And I think it's going to take time to get a tune of the Exeter City squads in its own way. But I think once he gets that tune, he's not going to leave. I do think they'll be one of the 4 best teams in the division. But I don't think they'll have enough in them to really make automatic promotion. I just don't think they've got the ability to sneak over that line. It's just got a feeling, really. Right. 3rd place, Grimsby Town. I think the Marinos are going up. Dave Hartel did a fantastic job last season, only finishing 4 points off automatic promotion places. That is a good side. They kicked 2026 off with 5 successive wins. And I think they've really found their feet now, to get into the playoffs or a team that has previously been fighting relegation. I think it's an amazing achievement, and I think they're really going to kick on. Yes, they lost agonisingly against Salford City, but I think they're only going one way, and that's north. I think Grimsby are going up, and so too are Port Vale, in my opinion. They were the lowest scorers in League One last season. But let's make no mistake about it. John Brady got a tune out of that team. He started picking up results, and if if John Brady was in charge for the whole season, I think Port Vale would have absolutely stayed up. They got some good victories. They even beat Stockport County towards the end of the season, and yeah, they managed to get to the FA Cup fifth round, I think it was, of the quarterfinals before they lost to Chelsea. They beat Sunderland in that run. Port Vale know how to get out of League Two. They did it a couple of seasons ago under Darren Moore, much to the delight of their fans. I think Port Vale are gonna get their second League Two promotion in 3 years. I just can't see that squad not going up. I think they've just got too good of a squad. And that means winning the league, in my opinion, is Steve Evans' Bristol Rovers. They had a mixed season, you could definitely say. Going on a 10-game losing streak earlier on in the season, looking like almost certainty for double relegation. But Steve Evans got a tune out of that squad. They won 8 successive games in a row towards the end of the season. And I think it was it 9 in 12 that they won? Yes. So they ended the season 9 games unbeaten, and it was 10 wins in 12. So I got my facts a little bit mixed up here. This is a side that are going to have a winning mentality. Steve Evans knows how to get out of League Two. I think they've got the perfect manager in charge. I think he's had the time to get a tune out of that squad. Last season was a bit of a writer, but had a great ending. I think that they're just going to be absolutely riding that crest of a wave, and I think they're going to go straight back up into League One. I can't see any other side winning this. This, for me, is the best team in the division. Right, well, that wraps it up, guys. As I say, I'm sure in May I'll find out how wrong I really am, but it's just a prediction, just for a bit of fun at the end of the day, as all of these predictions are. If I've predicted your team lower than you would have hoped, I'm sorry. If you think I've gone a bit too confident with your team and that, I'm a bit silly for doing so and it's annoyed you, again, I'm sorry. It's just for a bit of fun. I'm looking forward to the new season. I know Dons are in League One, but still going to keep an eye out for League Two because if I'm going to be honest, I think the Football League is it's far better than the Premier League will ever be. So it's far more exciting. Good luck to all teams. And look, if you're watching this for the first time and you haven't done so already, please make sure to subscribe, share the video. It really does help me out if you've liked what you've seen. And yeah, I will be back. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be doing some more content. Be doing a few videos this week, and I will also be doing some Championship and some Premier League predictions in the coming days as well. But yeah, please let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you think I did? Do you think it's a reasonable prediction? Do you think I'm just being a bit silly? Please just let me know. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. It's incredibly appreciated. Like I say, I'll be back soon. Thanks for watching, and good luck to all the League Two teams in the next season, and obviously up the Dons.